right, today I want to do a video on one of my favorite projects that I did on the van, and that was the roof rack, or the solar panel mount on top of the van. And I knew that I wanted to have solar power, and I have a couple 200-watt panels I needed to mount on top of the van. And I decided to try to come up with a design that used 80-20 aluminum extrusion for that frame, for the rack. And I wanted to try to make it so I could pitch the solar panels up to about a 30-degree angle to maybe see if they would be a little more efficient. It's probably not really necessary, but I was like, oh, I thought I might try it just to see if I could do it, and might be a nice feature to have. So again, this video, it gets a little long, I know, but yes, I enjoyed the project. I ended up including a lot of the video that I took when I built the rack. But yeah, check it out. Hopefully you like it. So these are some sketches I've been working on for the design of the roof rack and the mounting of the solar panels. And I decided to try to build a rack out of 80-20 aluminum extrusion, which I've seen some people doing online, and I'm planning on doing quite a bit of the interior build with 80-20. So I'm looking at a 400-watt, 200 amp hour solar system to power my internal van workings. So I've got two panels that are about 59 by 27 or so, and here's a crude sketch that I've done. This is forward on top of the van. This is a plan view looking down, and I'm going to create a frame, external frame, and then basically take the two panels, attach those together, and then create an internal frame with the 80-20. This I've modified a little bit from the sketch, so I'm going to have a piece of 80-20 around this edge as well, which I don't really show in this sketch. The solar panels you can see are here. These lines represent the periphery of the panel, and these are the 80-20 that are going to wrap these panels. And then I'm going to hinge the panel on the passenger side, and I've found a great online company that sells these gas struts, and they have an excellent tool for calculating positioning and load and size of these struts, and it packages it all up and into a order, and you just once you're ready to go and you think you've got it the way you want it, you hit purchase, and these are on the way, these gas struts. And you figure out how heavy your panels are going to be, what degree you want to tilt this. I've decided just to tilt it to a third after researching it a bit and looking. I've decided to tilt it to, I'm trying to design this, I should back up, trying to design this so I can tilt the panels. And I'm looking to tilt them at a 35-degree angle. So basically I'm building a frame inside of a frame. I'm going to hinge it on one side and then have gas struts on each side attaching the 80-20, and then it'll tilt up like so, right? And then what I've got here is how I think I'm going to do a quick pin release on each end of the panel here. So if you look at view AA right here, kind of showing this profile, here's the 80-20 tube for the frame. This bracket will mount to that frame, and this is a new bracket that's right here. It'll be attached to this extrusion, so when this swings down, it'll lay on top of this extrusion and act as a stop, and then I'll pin it together, and that's what this quick pin release. So this extrusion, this bracket, this 4343 black, this is an existing 80/20 bracket that'll just mount on top of this rail right here, and I can position it anywhere on this rail. And then this bracket, which is this new X1 that I've labeled, and if you look at view BB, so we'll take this and flip it. So here's a profile cross section here, basically looking aft. So here's the 80/20, external 80/20 frame. Here's the piece, the framework that's gonna wrap the panels. And here's this new bracket. So when this swings down, this bracket will rest on this and then pin it. So I gotta make this bracket here, this new one. I need to make that and an opposite part. I've done a little sketch for that, and I received some raw material for this to make this out of some aluminum extrusion. I couldn't really find one that I could use. So that's the plan. Yeah, I don't know how it's all going to work out. I've started receiving materials. I got the panels, and we'll see how it goes. Here's here's another sketch I did. It's an older one, but it shows kind of a more overview of the whole roof. And here's the panel configurations here forward, my port for my wire routing, and the fan. And then what I'm doing with this 80/20, I have a split here. You can see basically on this, that's this location. So I'm gonna build this part first. And then if I wanna come in at a later time, I can add some more 80/20 railing and continue the roof rack and maybe put some wood planks down, or whatever. I don't know, I haven't really figured that out. Right now I'm trying to get the solar panel system dialed in, so we'll go from there, and more to come. Well, I've started making some of my first cuts with this 80/20. That stuff is pretty messy. I got to figure out a better dust or metal shaving collections. I got my shop vac hooked up to my saw, but it's still a mess. I didn't use my new chop saw over there because I got that set up for my wood cuts, and I got a miter stand that I made for it. But I may go to the Bosch, but I got a metal blade put in my DeWalt, so I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so I'm upstairs here in the spare room working on the roof rack and the solar panel frame setup, and I'm going to, I've got you can see it's a two-piece frame design, I think, as I was showing in the plans earlier. This is the external frame that'll mount to the van itself. I've got the internal frame here, and I've got it hinged along this side. All right, well, it's all with this 80/20 hardware that I ordered. So it'll hinge and swing up. I've got this handle. It's kind of bulky. I'm not sure I'm going to go with it, but we may. And then I have those panels, of course, will go here. I've got tabs set in here that I ordered from Hain at DIY Vans, and those panels, my 200 watt for a total 400 watts, will mount in here. And then I've got some gas struts that I've got to mount. I was over at my buddy's house today fabricating some brackets to mount these, and I gotta get this space accurate, and then I'll slide this bar and get it dialed in to open it to about a 35 degree. 35 or 40, I'm not quite sure. I got to rerun some of the numbers on that for exact positioning because I modified some of the bracket design today. And then down here, we've designed a bracket that one I was showing earlier in the video that'll mount to this bar. So when this swings down, this bracket will extend off of here and it'll rest on this bar, and it'll have a hole in this bracket, and then I've got another bracket here, and I'll have a quick pin that'll engage, and we'll do one of those on each end. So the operation of it will be to climb up and undo the pins. Of course, you'd be on the edge of the van, so you'd reach here and undo the pins. I'll put them on lanyards and lift this up, and if I do the calculations right and locate the struts properly, should take about 10 pounds of force to lift it. Then the struts would take over and lift it to about 35 degrees, and then that would be that. And then to lower it back down and climb up, give it about 10 pounds of force this way to where it reaches neutral, and then comes down and will rest in place, and then I pin it back in. So we'll see if it works. Well, find out. Okay, so I wanted to show how I plan to mount the 80-20 to the van itself, the main peripheral rack to the van. And looking online, doing some research, I came across a website called DIY Vans, and have contacted them. Hayne, who is the primary engineer, and it's his company. Very good dude, nice guy. I've talked to him several times, and I ended up purchasing his product. He's come up with a slick little design here. I really like it, and he's got this component here. On top of the Dodge Promaster, there's some small cleats, T-shaped cleats. And each side on the 136, which is what I have, has the 3 of them. So he's developed this system where this component here, he's designed this. This slips over the cleat through this hole right here, and slips in and then slides, and the cleat grabs this and rests right over this slot. So I'll slip it in. I do a video outside on it, but it's pouring rain right now. And then he's got this component, which is a very hard composite. I'm not sure exactly what he's machining this out of, but you can see the profile. It's designed, it sits right in the trough very nicely. So you drop this on the cleat, engage it, slide it on, and you take this, slip it over it, right? And then he's got these brackets he's designed. Now these brackets slip onto here. I'll do it this way. You can see it better. Slip onto this, and then you'll attach this bracket down. And when you tighten this, torque this up, pulls that interior bracket up onto against the cleat. Basically clamps the whole system together. And this lower component, the spacer that he's designed, this piece, sits in this trough. This cannot shift this way, the way he's designed it. So once you torque this down, this thing is fastened right to the top. And then you can just bolt your 80/20 on there, and you've got your rail. Now I'm going to position these brackets. You can position these brackets either way. Let's say here's the outside of the van. Here's the roof side is over here. You can position it this way, or you can flip it 180 and have it basically so it would be like this. So you know, this would be where your solar panels are. But I'm going to go this route. I'm going to attach it like this, and you fasten it over here, and then I've got this interior side all nice and clear and clean for the installation of my solar panel system. I need to hinge to this and what have you. So pretty slick setup from Hayne at DIY Van. Great design concept.